What's your frick this? I quit story. I got an interview offer from Vector Marketing Cutco as a teen. I went. It was a knife presentation. The presenter pulled me into the office for a short interview, offered me the job on the spot. So you expect me to make appointments and travel? Yes. And you want me to pay for my own knives, then tell me to sell them to my friends and family for commission? Yes. I'll just get a real job. I worked for a company for over a year that was contracted to make deliveries for Amazon. The vans they equipped us with were terribly maintained and fully unequipped to handle winter weather. I worked with the company through their first winter, which meant sliding all over the road when it was icy and getting stuck constantly every time we had snow. I never had a major accident, though I did have 2 or 3 close calls where only minor damage was incurred to the van. I decided to stick it out through the summer, when the weather was obviously much better. All summer long they promised us that new and better vans were coming. September rolls around, no vans. October, no vans. November, no vans. That month we got our first real snow. I got back from my route and immediately put in my notice. My boss told me they would be getting new vans by the end of the year. I told her that was nice and walked. I wonder if they ever did get new vans. My gut says no, but my heart says also no. I was in the same position for 2 years and was actively looking at other positions within the same company. Bosses knew about it. It was just time for a change and to advance my career. Great opportunity came up and I was offered the position. However, my current leadership blocked me because I received a promotion 6 months prior. That promotion was literally an automatic email that said congrats, you're now level 2 instead of level 1, because I had met my sales attainment and completed all my yearly trainings. Literally an automated email stopped me from getting promoted and bosses said I had to wait another 18 months. Left that company and went to a competitor doing the same thing for better pay and significantly more support. Was working at a restaurant in Murfreesboro, Tennessee. Found a better job that actually gave me hours and went in to put my 2-week notice. Was more like a week, a few days due to timing of the new gig. In out of courtesy, I got a lecture about how I could never come back to the company since it wasn't a full 2 weeks. I then suggested politely that that's great. Let's say today is my last day then. Was such a relief. Currently in the US military, was back and forth about re-enlisting for another 4 years. Have done 9 to this point. I have a 3-year-old daughter at home who I haven't seen in almost 2 years for more than 3 weeks. Was talking to an officer in my chain of command when I told him my thoughts. I had just received orders to remain overseas for an additional 2 years. His exact words were, "You've already missed 2 years of her life, you can afford to lose 2 more." I went to my command career counselor office that day and signed my intention to separate. Was delivering pizzas in high school and I had to deliver to this trailer park. It had a few hundred lots and was kinda confusing since I had never been there before and the store map was horrible. Boss wrote the directions down wrong. He was the only one allowed to answer phones. And after 90 minutes I find the place. The guy gets the stuff for free and I told him no to the tip because I should have double checked before leaving. I head back to the store and the boss says I have another order to deliver and I was going to pay for both of these orders out of my pocket. I said I quit and walked out. He was an Italian immigrant and started cursing at me in Italian. 6 months later the place closed because he could not keep drivers because of this crap. Summer job in a downtown scuzzy part of the city retail store, repainting the wooden fence around the parking lot. The fence wood was a pattern so on an angle you could see through it. I was painting the one side and a guy walked up on the other side and started pissing on the other side. A stream of piss almost on my head. I yelled and said get the hell out of here. He continued to piss and then dropped to a squat for a number 2. Got up, packed up the paintbrush and paint, went inside for a break. Boss said what are you doing in? The fence is not done. I said you don't pay me enough to get pissed on. I was working in a particular role for a small charity. It was already a busy role but then due to changes within the company my role got ridiculous. I was the senior manager looking after the budgets and accounts and acting as an accountant so had to teach myself all about charity tax law, which is not easy. I was managing marketing, media communication, strategic implementation, a reception and all customer service, a physical and online shop, 10 members of staff, legal compliance including insurance and data protection, health and safety, HR reporting and end of year audits, preparing papers for and attending trustee meetings, procurement as well as general meetings. To the point where my job had gone way beyond my original job description anymore. Anyway, despite all the extra responsibilities, my boss still expected me to have time to do everything to an extremely high standard and couldn't possibly understand there would be any reason that I was overwhelmed apart from me being shiz. Strange how everyone in that place also complained about being overworked and that at one point the staff were going to go to the trustee board to see if they could get him replaced. It was always everyone else's fault. He sat me down at my 12-month probation meeting and said that I wasn't doing well enough to be given the job permanently, so he wanted to extend my probation by another 3 months, in which time he must see improvements. And what did I think I needed to improve? I said that I had been telling him for months what I needed to improve, which was for him to take the fact that everyone was overworked seriously and his expectations of what a human being could achieve were ridiculous at best, which was apparently never going to happen, so I quit. He said he didn't want that. I said I did, and just quit. It had been on my mind for a while, but that pushed me over the edge. A part of me wanted to stay, to go to the probation hearing and let everyone in HR know exactly what he was like, but I was just so done with the whole thing. Best decision ever. I now have an amazing job I love for a different charity that actually values what I do, and it feels great. Was at a job for 3 years, consistently in the top 3 of my department in terms of performance. Asked my supervisor repeatedly if I could be recommended for advancement or promotion, and he always told me he was trying his best to get me new opportunities. Found out from a friend in a different department that I'd been considered a top candidate for 4 different promotions, and each time my supervisor had blocked it. When I confronted him with this information, he told me it was true and he did it because I could never find someone who does what you do without paying them a lot more. Internally said f this, I quit and found a new job within 3 months. Took all my PTO, and on the day I came back I quit 2 hours into the day, leaving him high and dry at a peak time. F that dude. I could never find someone who does what you do without paying them a lot more. Laughing out loud that they actually said that. What a douchebag. He's basically saying, yeah, I'm screwing you. Yeah, f that dude. A program manager berated me in front of 20 people. This was about the 10th time he did it. He always fluctuated between "I'm sorry" and "you suck." I was done. I looked at him and said, just because you're broken doesn't mean you need to break everyone else. I left work, picked up my kids from school and spent the rest of the day at the park. I called my husband, who was on a business trip, and told him I walked out. He was very supportive. And that's that. I'm too old for this shiz. My only regret is that I didn't tell him to f off. Arrived at the bar to work my shift only to discover that the owners had sacked my manager because there was, in their view, too much wastage. At the time he was recovering from major surgery on his arm. He had 3 young children and an 8 months pregnant wife. They thought they were losing money because not every drop of beer poured went into somebody's drink, which is just a fact of life in a bar, and not because their right alto rag son brother, father-son owner duo, kept coming in with his mates and demanding we give them drinks they didn't have to pay for. Quit on the spot. Went to the manager's son's christening a while later. A year or 2 after that, was told the bailiffs had come to visit the bar and left with quite a lot of furniture. Couldn't have happened to bigger cunts. Had my annual review after finishing my first year at a retail store, and I got a 13-cent per hour raise. A co-worker of mine who drunkenly broken into the laundromat or grocery store in town to steal beer a few weeks prior got a 14-cent per hour raise, and new employees were making 12 cents more to start than I was 1 year in. F this. I quit. And f you, Under Armour. I had a manager who just didn't like me. I don't know why. It happens. But she couldn't keep it professional and acted as if every mistake I made I had made on purpose, just to f with her. Meanwhile everyone else told me that they were super happy with me and I was a great worker. So she had worked that Saturday, and when I turned on my PC that Monday morning I had about 10 emails from her, all with screenshots and rude remarks like, why is it so hard for you to follow the rules and how did you not know this? While she was the one that trained me. F that shit. I'm worth way more than that. My boss had my crew and I cut corners on a job. I was fairly new to the position and took what he said as the way it was supposed to get done. Inspectors then came and checked the job because of an unrelated screw up by another company and in turn found out what we had done. Boss then blamed the whole thing on me and denied he ever told me to do it the it was done. Spent the next 2 days replacing all previous work to the way it should have been. Boss then told me that he was not going to pay me for the days of work, 14 hours each day, because I was fixing my f**k-ups. All the while during the 2 days getting called a f**king idiot and a liar. F**k you, I quit. You have been visited by the holy doggo. Like this video and subscribe for a good luck.